morning, hello, and welcome to the Hoof GP. Those of you who watched that sequence very closely may have noticed a slight difference. Yes, that's right, I've barbecued my hand. This is an episode of the one-handed hoof trimmer. If you haven't already subscribed, please think about doing it right now by clicking that little button down there, and I'll catch you after the intro. So on Monday night I had an accident with a bit of an explosion and genuinely thought I had ended myself. More about that later on. But luckily I have Craig, and Craig is a good trimmer. His confidence is built up, we all know that, because he's not as confident in his abilities as he should be, because he really is a good trimmer. But yesterday we were out and we trimmed 28 cows, got on fantastically well, and today he's got a real challenge. We're trimming 40 and he's going to be trimming them all by himself. So guys, wish him luck in the comments. Let's crack on. I'm so glad my crush lives inside now. Although that said, maybe it won't be my crush for much longer. Silent treatment, is this what it feels like when your heart is aching, when it bleeds? So today we are at one of our furthest away customers. It's going to take us about an hour and 15 minutes to get there, although believe it or not, it's only 30 miles, but little twisted, narrow, windy roads means that it will take a lot longer than it normally would going anywhere else. Luckily my truck is an auto, which in the UK isn't quite as common as it is in the States, but it means there's no trouble for me whatsoever driving. So if you guys follow the Midwestern hoof trimmer or Aaron Lavoie, you'll know that he challenged us to a shoot-off. And luckily for Aaron, I'm incapacitated. Because let's face it, the Americans against the Scotsmen, it's not really a fair fight, is it? So this should even up the stakes and give us an excuse. So we are going to crack on and get the challenge done today. Wish us luck! Like when your heart is aching, when it bleeds. If it's over, just say it out loud. Say those words, go and just shout it out. So we got to the farm, and the first thing is first. I gotta keep this clean and dry. Well, as clean and dry as possible anyway. You'll notice I'm not putting any of the magical paste on this though. Just shout it out. Just be honest, be a man right now. Say it's over, if it's over. We've been laying here since 4 a.m. Right, now that we're in, we're gonna get this challenge done and dusted. I don't have a timer, but I'll put a timer on the video afterwards to see how we do. I think Aaron did like 31 or 32 seconds, but I'll check his video out and make sure we are competing against the right time. Wish us luck. Go! Okay. Done! Don't know if that was quicker though.
36.48 seconds.
I'm not sure. That's gonna be tough to beat. Yes! Right, on with the day anyway. Think we beat it, Rob? This bull is really lame in his front right foot. So like the last one. Maybe lifted him a little bit too high. Just start on his front right foot here.
Personally, for me, days like this are a challenge. I do not like standing there feeling like I'm doing nothing at all, and I really am desperate to get my hands on the knives and the grinder and make a start on these feet. But I need to step back a little and let Craig do his thing.
Got a block on there straight away. So straight away Craig cleaned off this lateral clot just to check that there's nothing untoward here, and now we can get a block on here. This is most certainly the problem. He maybe has an abscess hiding underneath this horn, but we'll just find out in 2 seconds. So we're going to put 2 blocks on this big guy just to make sure that sore foot is completely off the ground. So feeling around here, and it feels like there's a real cavity in there. We're just about to find out.
The video footage probably doesn't show it all that well, but there was some bruising towards the toe of this big guy's front foot, so I knew exactly where to look, and where I pressed it, sure enough, there was a void underneath.
So if we press that there, we can see there is indeed pus inside an abscess. Obviously it's hurting him now. We don't want to hurt him, but it is important to figure out exactly what it is that's hurting him, and it's here. Try and just get rid of that bit now. Sorry, I'm just huge.
For me, this is a real tussle in my head of 2 different parts of me. The first being, I want to get in there with the knives and make the best possible job of this bull and get him on the road to recovery as quickly as possible. But the other part of me knows I should be leaving Craig to make decisions on his own.
My heart is open, it just took some time. Now I just hope that you'd stay for a little while. You fix what's broken when you make that smile. So just stay for a little while.
As we're waiting for the blocks to dry on his front foot, Craig trims both of his back feet. This one has a very small problem in the white line, so we apply a block to make sure that that doesn't materialise into anything more untoward. As is very often the case, this bull's front left foot is suffering from a very similar problem to his front right. So again, before it can get any worse, we'll apply a couple of blocks to get the weight off that area and make him much more comfortable. Unfortunately for this bull, when you have problems on both of your toes of both of your front feet, it's incredibly painful. So hopefully he'll get used to these blocks very quickly and be much more comfortable in a day or 2. Every cloud has a silver lining, and here the silver lining is that I get to do Craig's job and Craig gets to do a bit more of mine, so we can both appreciate each other's roles a bit more fully. And luckily for me, the apple and steel is easily able to be operated with one hand.
So these cows are dry cows and they're only in for checks and routine trimming. And this is a perfect example of why we do it.
Looking at the inner claw, you can see it's almost the perfect shape apart from a slight bevel, and then the outer claw is extended, overgrown, and therefore has a poor foot angle. So Craig is stabilising that inner claw and then he's going to match the outer one to it, correct the length and make sure the foot has a nice deep model to alleviate the typical sole ulcer sight.
I go red when you're sitting nearby. I'm like a young child. Oh, it's silly how time just flies when we play and you hide.
If this doesn't build up my immune system, I don't know what will.
You come and go like a monsoon rain. You had a show.
Although Craig's doing all the trimming because he's not fully confident yet, basically I'm checking all the feet before he puts them down on the ground, and then any little alterations I would make, Craig does, which is hardly any, to be honest. I know it's just a routine job, but perfect. Look at that. Couldn't be much more perfect.
Perfect was good enough, by the way. You don't have to say it couldn't be much more perfect.
There's always room for improvement. So Craig's getting on really well, as I was totally sure he would. And we've trimmed about 20 cows right now. We've only got 8 or 9 left to do, so it's not a big day for him, which is perfect. But now it's definitely time for a coffee. And because I'm the one getting the cows in, who are we kidding? Craig's still making the coffee. Excuse me? What was that, Rab?
Who's doing all the work?
Me.
This guy.
So what actually happened to my hand and how bad is it? Well, on Monday night, we are renovating the garden now at our new house just outside Wigtown, and basically we ripped out a load of old decking, which is a load of old wooded area, piled up high, and I needed to set fire to it. So me being me, I decided it would probably go a little bit better if I used some gas on it, or petrol. So I decanted some petrol from one container into the other and spilt half of it in the process. And then as I was walking down to the fire with the box that held the container I decanted it into, I was thinking, this might be turning into gas, so when I light it, it might explode. Ah well, probably won't. I'm assuming I'd spilt some fuel over this hand. So when I put it on the fire, went to light it, never got anywhere near where the actual fire was when it exploded in my face, engulfed me in flames, and this hand caught fire. At the time it was pretty sore, but it wasn't ridiculously sore. 20 minutes later, however, it started to get really, really sore, and I did have my hand under a cold tap or faucet, and basically every single time I took it out there, it was agony, so I ended up going to the hospital. The trip to the hospital was the worst though. I nearly passed out twice. Basically, they wrapped it in this special burns bandage. I went back up there the next day, they removed that, cleaned it again, and rewrapped it, and now I'm basically in a predicament where it's kind of numb. A bit sore? I'll take you guys along for the ride so that you can see what it's all about. Beautiful. It's lucky I've got Craig, otherwise it'd been more work for me, and the farmers would really struggle to get their cows done. And it's lucky Rab's here to help me as well. Or hinder, whichever. So here's what Craig's been doing, and he spotted this hole in her foot right there. So this hole is going to go all the way up the side of her foot and come out somewhere near the top or halfway up. We've put a block on there that's drying, and now Craig is going to remove all of this side portion to make sure that no dirt, debris and stones get trapped in there and make the problem even worse. Craig's done an awesome job of removing all of that loose horn there. Now it may not look like it's a huge problem, but if we didn't put a block on there and we removed that part of the wall horn, then her foot wouldn't have the strength to support itself. So by putting the block on, it gives itself time to heal properly and to grow back in, and no more problems will arise.
You make me feel so unreal.
And this little lady brings us to the end of the working day. We've just got to get her finished up, wash up, then get home, shower, shave and change of clothes, and we're going to go to the hospital and see exactly how this hand is looking now. I suspect it's going to look worse than last time, but hopefully not.
So I've been home, changed, cleaned, I'm in the nice car now, not in the work vehicle, and we're on our way to hospital. My hand is properly killing right now, so kind of hope there's something to show for it, if you know what I mean. And with that, we are here. And I am exempt from wearing a mask, but going in a hospital without a mask on right now, very, 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 very bad idea. Probably worse than the consequences of... Yeah, I'm wearing a mask. Open sesame.
That's fine, Glenn. Just take a seat.
Okay, cheers.
Don't get burned, folks. It hurts.
This is Jello-net. Pretty cool, isn't it?
That's better, I've got my thumb back at least to use. Happy days. On that note, guys, thank you very much for watching this edition of the Hoof GP. Catch you next time. Goodbye.